Sabhayam upavishtam uttame nripasane sambrita tejasam vibhum alaksita dvairatam atyamarsanam prachanda vaktram na babaja kashchana tataha sabhayam upavishtamuttame narpasane sambrita tejasam vibhum alaksita dvairatam atyamarsanam prachanda bhaktam na babaj kaschana tatasabhayam babavishtamuttame narapasane sambrita tejasam vibhum alaksita dvairatam atyamarsanam prachanda bhaktram na babaj kaschana. Bhayam upavishtamuttame nrapasane sambrita tejasam vibhum alaksita dvairatam atyamarsanam prachanda bhaktram na babaj kaschana tatasabhayam upavishtamuttame nrapasane sambrita tejasam vibhum iratam atyamarsanam prachanda bhaktram na babaj kaschana tataha thereafter sabhayam in the assembly house upavishtam seated uttame on the best nrapa asane throne upon which King Hiranyakashipu used to sit. On which, okay. Sambrita tejasam, in full effulgence. Vibhum, the Supreme Lord. Alaksita dvairatam. Sorry, dvairat, okay. Whose challengers or enemy was not seen. Can you hear me? Asit ati, very much. Amarsanam, fearsome, due to his anger. Prachanda, terrible. Vaktram, face. Na, not. Babaja, worshipped. Kashtana, anyone. Manifesting a full effulgence and a fearsome countenance, Lord Nrsimha, being very angry and finding no contestant to face his power and opulence, then sat down in the assembly hall on the excellent throne of the king. Because of fear and obedience, no one could come forward to serve the Lord directly. Srila Prabhupada's purport. When the Lord sat on the throne of Hiranyakashipu, there was no one to protest. No enemy came forward on behalf of Hiranyakashipu to fight with the Lord. This means that its supremacy was immediately accepted by the demons. Another point is that although Hiranyakashipu treated the Lord as his bitterest enemy, he was the Lord's faithful servant in Vaikuntha, and therefore the Lord had no hesitation in sitting on the throne that Hiranyakashipu had so laboriously created. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur remarks in this connection that sometimes, with great care and attention, great saintly persons and rishis offer the Lord valuable seats dedicated with Vedic mantras and tantras. But still the Lord does not sit upon those thrones. Hiranyakashipu, however, had formerly been Jaya, the doorkeeper at the Vaikuntha gate. And although he had fallen because of the curse of the Brahmanas and had gotten the nature of a demon, and although he had never offered anything to the Lord as Hiranyakashipu, the Lord is so affectionate to his devotees and servant that he nonetheless took pleasure in sitting on the throne that Hiranyakashipu had created. In this regard, it is to be understood that a devotee is fortunate in any condition of his life. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti-Vedanta Swamin Iti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Sunyavari Paschatya Deshatarane Om Ajnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Jaina Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Aradyo Bhagavan Brajesas Tanayoshtadama Vrindavanam Ramya Kasched Upasanam Brajavadu Varginava Kalpita Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam Prema Pumaratamahan Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhur Matamitam Tatra Daruna Paraha Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Muranti Divyaistaver Bede Sangapada Kramopani Sader Gayanti Yam Samagaha Dhyanavastita Tyakatena Manasa Pashanti Yam Yogino Yashyantam Nebiduhu Sura Sura Gana Devatasme Namaha Ajanulam Bitabujo Kanakabatato Sankirtane Kapitaro Kamalaya Taksho Vishwambaro Divijavaro Yuga Dharma Palo Jagat Priyakaro Nama Avataro Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Brahma 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 Hare Hare. Very happy to be here today in Vrindavan in front of all fortunate souls who spent their money, their time, great difficulty getting to Vrindavan and enduring in this place. It is not certainly a comfort zone for almost everybody, but still you have come, and Prabhupada is very happy to see this. So, Hiranyakashipu, he is the best of the demons, the king of demons. A demon is endowed with lust, anger, greed, avarice, illusion, madness to the full extent. Just as Vishnu is 196% of Krishna, Hiranyakashipu is 100% of qualities of the demon, as Krishna is 100% quality of the Godhead. So the other day when Vaishnav gave class and he read the qualities of a demon from Bhagavad-Gita. So we all have read this. This was Hiranyakashipu personified. So Prabhupada always used to say about other people, he's a little Hiranyakashipu. No one can equal Hiranyakashipu, as no one can equal an avatar of the Lord. He was particularly empowered to disturb other living entities, be envious of other living entities, and to dominate other living entities. These are all properties and ownership by the demon maniac consciousness. So when Srila Prabhupada was on the boat. You know, today is special because my good friend here, I know that, but Gurnarnava Prabhu, see, that's why he's my good friend. We had very close friendship, and we will talk about that, but when Prabhupada was on that boat and such endeavor in tribulations, nothing checked his determination to get to the shores of the United States. Years of planning, thinking, endeavoring, putting together his masterpiece of the Srimad Bhagavatam, carting the trunks up there, no actual money, and taking the boat. And when he arrived, then he composed the song, the poem, Tava, Krishna Tava Punya Habibai, wherein Prabhupada is seeing here what I will do with these modes of nature. All his little Hiranyakashipus, a whole country full of them. And Srila Prabhupada, in the mood of Prahlad Maharaj, was going to preach. Despite anybody objecting to what he had to say, he was going to do what he was born to do, what was in the core of his heart. He was going to change the mentality of the demon. So on that boat, he composed this wonderful song, this wonderful poem, which is even hard to read for most of, I can't even get through the thing. It takes about a half an hour because of the such Prabhupada mood to come. So when Hiranyakashipu did put Prahlad up there on his lap and then said, "What is the best thing you learnt?" He said, "Tat sadhu manye." Prabhupada quoted this verse again and again, and many, many times. In the afternoon, when we would be someplace, I traveled in many countries with Srila Prabhupada. I would always, because I was always working. I didn't have, those that were around him too much weren't doing too much preaching, because Prabhupada would send anybody out that had ability to do some capacity to preach. So when I had this chance, as using my position as GBC, I would kick security out or whoever was there and say, "I'm going to bring the coconut." Prabhupada had coconut at 4 o'clock after his nap. And in Hawaii, there's always coconut. And I would bring the coconut. And in Fiji and other places, and then Srila Prabhupada, almost every time he would quote Prahlad Maharaj. He would quote something from the 7th chapter. And in 1977, Srila Prabhupada's last lectures he did give were the Prahlad instructions in Mayapur. That he gave those daily. He gave that in his last, that was the last time Srila Prabhupada spoke. The Bhagavatam class was in Mayapur of 77. And those were recorded. So Prahlad, he said, "Tat sadhu manye, asurya bharya dehidam." You are the big demon. You're the best of the demons. How you can be the best of a demon? No, you're the best demon, is what he's saying. There's nothing best about a demon, but of demons, you're the number one. Because no one can top you. You have taken power. Tat sadhu manye asurya bharya dehinam sadasabid vignam diyam asatkrahat. So he said, I suggest what I have learned, the best thing is that when your intelligence is disturbed, and it should be if you're a human being, it should be disturbed by the interactions of the three modes and the miserable surroundings that we exist in as eternal jiva, full of bliss and knowledge. And we have cells in our brain The human being has these, the animals do not. And these are spiritual cells which push us to understand, Tattvamasi. What is that? What is that thing? The thing, Tattvamasi. That is Vedanta. So, atato brahma jigyasa. Yes, I'm a human. I can atato. I can question. I can inquire. I should research it up to that point where I'm satisfied with the answer. Satisfied, not simply, to go to the church. I saw one Muslim recently. I said, what is that thing that brings you to the mosque? What is it? It's no different than the Christian or the Jew or the Hindu. Everybody comes to bow, sit, whatever. They bow down, they pray on their knees, on their dandavats. They're all asking God, give me, and take my sins, take my sins. But nobody's knowing. So atato brahma jigyasa. One should come further. You must come here. So Prabhupada brought that. And atsaram diyam asat. Hitvatmaga patam griham andakupam. You should give up the dark well of this materialistic sense gratification and head off. Head off. Idvatmapatam griyamandakupam varam gato yet dharamasreta, and go to search for Hari in Vrindavan. That's Prabhupada's translation. So now we will come to the point of Vrindavan, is why me and Gurnarnava Prabhu are here, is that the Vrindavan center is Srila Prabhupada's personal heart. This is his desire. He told me in his room, he said, my Guru Maharaj ordered me to go to the West. And I did that. And I have completed. Basically at that point he said, I have established, it is continuing. But now I have what I want to do. I want to build the temples in India. So this was our first temple that was built. And Srila Prabhupada personally would walk with his stick, and he'd come many times to see this construction. So this is his personal endeavor. Every brick in here, his energy is pervading it. His desire that we would come here and enjoy and understand there's something better than what the material energy is offering. So Gurnarnava Prabhu, there were the three. There was Surabi, the designer and supervisor of the construction work. Gurnarnava, who took care of all the cement, bricks, sand, and everything else, mortar, and workers that are needed and required to build anything. And then there were the funds that were the Namhata party with many, many devotees. I was just their leader, but that went out and secured these things and sent them. So I'm going to give this mic to Gurnarnava a little bit, all right, and he can kick it in there. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
How fortunate we are this morning. How fortunate we are whenever we come to Vrindavan. Prabhupada wanted a house that the whole world could live in. And it's not that we have to actually live in the house, but it's about having the facility to come and absorb in devotional service to the Supreme Lordships, Shri Shri Krishna Balaram, Shri Radha Samsung Gauritam. So, I'm going to tell you some very nice stories in the build-up to this beautiful temple. First of all, I just wanted to describe Vrindavan Dham. And I'd like everyone to join in with me. Chintamani Prakarasad Masu
Kalpa Vrikshal Shabrideshu Shurabhivi Palayantam Lakshmi Sahasra Satasambhrama Sevemanam Tamari Purusham Tamaham Bhajami.
And I brought this text with me because I couldn't remember all this. But in Adi Leela, Volume 1, Introduction, page 14, Prabhupada says, quote, when Krishna descends to the material world, this same Vrindavan descends just as an entourage accompanies an important personage. Because when Krishna comes, his land also comes. Vrindavan is not considered to exist in the material world. Therefore, devotees take shelter of the Vrindavan in India, for it is considered to be a replica of the original Vrindavan. Although one may complain that no Kalpavriksha wish-fulfilling trees exist there, when the Goswamis were there, the Kalpavriksha were present. It is not that one can simply go to such a tree and make demands. One must first become a devotee. The Goswamis would live under the tree for one night only, and the trees would satisfy all their desires. For the common man, this may seem very wonderful, but as one makes progress in devotional service, all this can be realized. Nata Pisayate Suryo Nasachanko Navakaha
Gana Nibartante Tadgama Brahmamama.
So, Srila Prabhupada would often say, this human form of life is very, very rare indeed to attain. What to speak of becoming a Vaishnava. So, here we are. I look around, I look at everyone here today, and I think how fortunate everyone is here. And basically, they're just manifestations of Prabhupada's mercy. Ramanda Brahmate Puna Bhagavan Ji Guru Krishna Vishade Pai Bhakti-yoga. I mean, how many lifetimes have we been existing in this material world? There are as you know, there are 8,400,000 different species of life. How many times have we gone around those 8,400,000 different species of life? Now, we all have this human form of life. And we're actually all gathered here today in Vrindavan. What a fortunate group of devotees we are. So, Srila Prabhupada, I wanted to just mention one thing. We were talking about the Jaladuta. Back in 2015, I gave a class here in the morning, all about gathering everyone to be very, very fully present to what Srila Prabhupada experienced on the Jaladuta. And as we know, Srila Prabhupada had 2 heart attacks and also suffered with acute seasickness. Every reason to turn back to Vrindavan. And as you know, Prabhupada was preparing to come to the West for 6.5, 7 years. Vrindavan was his home. So in those moments on the Jaladuta, Prabhupada composed this prayer. When Srila Prabhupada was on the Jaladuta cargo ship, His Divine Grace composed the following appeal. Prayer to the lotus feet of Krishna. I quote verses 8 and 9. Oh dear friend, in your company I will experience boundless joy once again. In the early morning, I will wander about the covered pastures and fields, running and frolicking in the many forests of Raja. I will roll on the ground in spiritual ecstasy. Oh, when will that day be mine? Today that remembrance of you came to me in a very nice way, because I have great longing. I called you. I am your eternal servant, and therefore I desire your association so much. Oh Lord Krishna, except for you there is no other means of success. After Prabhupada initially established the International Society for Krishna Consciousness in the Western world, at one time he was in the Los Angeles temple, and it was early morning and he was paying his obeisances to Rukmini Dwakadish. And a conversation developed between Srila Prabhupada and Rukmini Dwakadish. And Rukmini Dwakadish said to Prabhupada, I want you to go back to India. And Srila Prabhupada was shocked. He said, but I'm following the instructions of my Guru Maharaj, His Divine Grace, Bhaktisiddhanta. And I have got a mission, he has given me a mission to spread the holy name throughout the world. And now you're telling me to go back to Vrindavan, telling me to go back to India. And Rukmini Dwakadashi said, yes, because I'm going to give you a temple that is far more beautiful than a temple here in Los Angeles. And here it is. This is the temple. And that was under the instructions of Rukmini Dwakadashi in Los Angeles. So, the point of these stories, or these quotes, Srila Prabhupada was an extremely potent acharya in our line of succession. And Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada's godbrother here in Vrindavan, I had the highest privilege to associate with many times in those early days, in the early 70s, 71, 72. He said that Srila Prabhupada was one of the greatest acharyas in the line of our Brahma Gaudiya Sampradaya. And you always can judge something by the results. And the results are that Prabhupada has brought Vrindavan to the whole world. He's brought Vrindavan to the whole world. Unheard of by any other acharya. So, I want to pass it over back to Guru Kripa, because I think we're going to get into some details about those early days of 71, 72, 73, 74, in the build-up to the opening of the temple.
First, to discuss this, we have to acknowledge the devotees that started everything here. Dhananjay Prabhu, his wife, who else was there? They acquired the deities and began to Jamuna, Guru Das. They all were here initially. When we acquired this land, that was in 1972 in January. We were here. Prabhupada took us. We came in Vrindavan, and then he took us to Varsana. You've seen the videos, Yadubar Prabhu's videos of the Vrindavan tour all over. Srila Prabhupada took us on the bus to Braj Mandal Parikram in January of 1972. We bathed in Brahmananda Ghat, at the Jamuna, and went to all the places. And then Mr. Sharaf, who was the owner of this land, he gave this land to Srila Prabhupada, and this was a country. This was the country then. In those times, you couldn't get a rickshaw to come here. It was like asking them to go to Delhi. Raman Reti? Oh, that's so far away. It was actually so bad that after construction started, we purchased our own rickshaw. And we had a real nice one, extra big. And we hired a 24-hour-a-day rickshawwala who lived here on the property. And if you needed to go somewhere, the rickshawwala would take you. One evening, he wasn't available, so me and Yasodanandan Prabhu took the rickshaw into Loy Bazaar. And to drive a rickshaw takes a little training. You have to practice, and you can't go as fast as a couple of 20-year-olds want to go. We hit a few fruit carts and on the way and so forth. But it was out here. And Vrindavan was so different. You know, in the morning, you couldn't take a nap. We like to take a little 20-minute nap in the morning. It was complicated. There were so many peacocks that they made so much noise that you couldn't get a good nap. That was Vrindavan. So many peacocks. And daily, a pot of rice was cooked and put here. Well, there was no temple at that point. It was just ground. But they would all come. A whole pot of rice would be put and the peacocks would come. And the parrots. And there were no monkeys. The only monkeys in Vrindavan were at Sevakunj. There was not wild monkey everywhere. Just in the Sevakunj. And the river Jamuna was down where this grocery store is. Ananda Krishnavan. That place. What is that? The Krishna Balaram tree. You would take a left, go down where Ananda Krishnavan is, and walk 50 meters, and Jamuna was there. Pure. You drink the water, look to the bottom. Prabhupada had to kick us out of here. I came once, he was in Delhi, we didn't have a telephone. He had to send somebody. Srila Prabhupada wants you in Delhi. I went to Delhi. He said, what are you doing? This was during after Mayapur festival. Otherwise, 10 months a year, we were going out preaching. I'm just in Vrindavan. Get out. Go preach. So he didn't allow us to stay here. So that was Vrindavan. Now Vrindavan is still here, but it's covered by the smog, by the dust, by the cheating, by the money-greedy operatis that come here to dwell on pilgrim people. They're plunderers. Before, when Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Bhaktivinoda Thakur had to come to Vrindavan and clean up the mess here also, just as he did in Puri. There were so many dacoits plundering the pilgrims that came to Vrindavan during the time of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So now we have plunderers in the name of merchants who plunder. They also provide some service, but they don't give anything to the deities here, nor do they ever come and take darshan. This deity doesn't qualify with Banki Bihari. He's not up to the mark of Radharaman or basically Radharaman. Now they go to Damodar. So when I first came in Vrindavan was in January of 1972. I had been serving in Mumbai. And then Madhuvisa Prabhu, the great Madhuvisa, who left us a few years back, the most powerful kirtan man that ever entered the ISKCON institution. He was the Bruce Springsteen of ISKCON. He could rock the house every night. He was greatest. If you ever look at Bruce Springsteen and you look at Madhuvisa, they look the same. They do. They have the same confidence, the same energy, but Madhuvisa was spiritual. Anyway, we were in Mumbai collecting no money almost. But I had a few people, and then I ran away from the temple. It was my second civil disobedience in ISKCON. Until then, you would not believe it, I was a submissive little guy. But I came. I wasn't going to miss this. Anyway, when we came in here, they didn't see any white people. I came a few days before the devotees from the Delhi Pandal came. And they wouldn't, if you wanted a yogurt, they would throw it to you. They wouldn't hand it to us. And they'd say, go back. They'd make us go back 2 steps. This was going on, the caste consciousness. Vishwambar Goswami, the Goswami from Radharaman Temple, whose father had welcomed Srila Bhakti Siddhanta, and his grandfather, who had welcomed Bhakti Vinod, the other 6 major temples had shut the doors in Vrindavan. Only Radharaman let Bhakti Siddhanta's disciples in, and Srila Prabhupada was, well, they let us in by that time, but Srila Prabhupada was received because he was the mayor of Vrindavan, and there at Govinda Dev's they had a big function. Anyway, Vrindavan was in this way. As the construction began, because we don't have that much time, and the pillars started going and things were the first thing that was built was Srila Prabhupada's house. And what a wonderful house it is. If I ever build a house again, I'm going to just copy this one. The rooms and everything, it's a beautiful place. Sarabi's mind was from Vaikunthas. He was, we saw him here in his last days, peaceful, no distress, not in anxiety, never complained, never, he had cancer. He was going to leave us very soon, but he always had a smile on his face. And he came, he did his service, and a wonderful service he did. And Prabhupada's room was there, and then Prabhupada would come out, and we lived in a makeshift brick hut with a grass straw on it, and this property right over here, I guess where the guest house now stands, along the wall. So there was nothing opulent about anything. And we would walk up the Bhaktivedanta Marg, and Srila Prabhupada generally would walk about 30 minutes out and then turn back 30 minutes. So generally to an hour and 10 minutes was his walk. And we wouldn't see a car. People on boats, that's why you see the pictures, walking right down the middle of the road. That was Vrindavan. So now someone complained to me the other day that, oh, so many people, it's so crowded. I said, yes, that's nice. You should be happy to see this. You know, it's like if you come to Vrindavan before Kartik, nobody is here. Why come in Kartik? Just like if you go to the mall, it is on a normal day, it is not busy. But when there's a sale, it's packed. So Kartik is a sale. It's not only buy one, get one, it's buy one, get 1,000. Who's going to miss that sale? The intelligent person will come in Kartik and get that sukriti. We need that sukriti, that punya. That's what he says. The cowherd boys, they had the punya to see Krishna. Eventually the punya will become so sufficient that we will engage us. And Prabhupada said, I have come here and I have taken my disciples, and my only business is to train you to have association with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's what I'm doing here, is training you to get his service in the next life. So it's not far away, maybe a few lives, but Vrindavan, you can go fast here spiritually. In the West, it is slow. Every face you see is demoniac. And if you see a devotee, it's, hey, how you doing? Over here, get out of my way, and bump. One should calm down a little bit. This is Vrindavan. And appreciate that the people have come, and this is all Prabhupada's plan. His business was to bring everybody here, and that will atnyena suprasidati, that will satisfy the heart. So Gurnarnava, he was here, and you know, people are sitting on nice seats, but I came on the property one day. We were here. We had a dog too. We had a nice dog. Dogwood. Dogwood didn't associate with any dogs, and he had asthma.
He had every disease known to man. They talk about untouchables, caste system.
But everybody loved him.
And he was an incredibly humble dog. And every time, and he had asthma, he had very acute asthma. And every time he'd see us in the morning, he would almost bend like a U. You know, he had this very flexible body, and his tail was like that. It's like offering as a basis, offering as a basis.
He never mixed with other dogs. He only stayed.
But
But let me finish my story.
Okay.
But I came there, and people are sitting on nice seats and whatever. Gurnarnava was sitting on a pile of sand with steel rods below. And he was sitting on a pile of sand, and he used to sit on that sand and chant his japa. And there he would finish his namam. And in that environment of, full-time, imagine, there was no air conditioners. There, we could barely get a fan. We had made these mud huts, so it was a bit cool in there. But in such austere conditions, it helped to be in the early 20s too, than old. But yes, this progress went on.
When I first arrived in Vrindavan, I came from Delhi on a third-class train. So that meant in those days that third class meant you'd be with the animals, the sheep and cows, different animals would ride in the train. So we didn't have any money. We didn't have much. So that was all right. We're going to Vrindavan. Let's just jump on the train. We arrived. And we lived on the roof of the Gurnarnava temple for about 3 months with Guru Das, and there was about four brahmacharis, very small group of us. And then slowly but surely, Prabhupada wanted to move us out onto this land. So we built these huts, this group of people has described. They were brick and gota, cow dung, was plastered, rendered on the outside and the inside, and a gopher floor and a straw roof. And when Prabhupada saw these huts, he smiled, very big smile, and said, "This is Goswami. This is Goswami living." Because Prabhupada said, living in Vrindavan, you should live like a Goswami. But things have changed, as we've seen. There's many bakeries here now. There's actually no austerity when you come to Vrindavan, unless I guess the austerity is
the crowds.
So there are many pastimes. One thing I wanted to point out is Srila Prabhupada was known specifically for 2 aspects, his personality. Prabhupada was the rose, and he was very gentle and family, and devotees were very comfortable with that, particularly in the beginning. But when you come to Vrindavan, when you come to India, on the orders of Srila Prabhupada to build this temple, Srila Prabhupada, his personality was the thunderbolt. Prabhupada hit the ground running. He wanted to do so much, but he knew his time on this planet was limited. I think Prabhupada physically was here for 10 years or maybe a little bit more. And look what has been achieved in that time. So Srila Prabhupada, well, not only did were we under the what you call it, what you call it when there's a glass and it expands? What do you call it? The
Microscope.
Yeah. Not only were we under the microscope, but we also were subjected to Prabhupada's scrutiny. Now, I don't know if any of you here present have been under the scrutiny of Srila Prabhupada in circumstances like this. But Prabhupada, he had eyes, his senses were multifaceted. And the slightest little thing he would really get on you for. He would pressure you, he would call you a fool, a rascal, an idiot, stupid, dull, you know. And as Lord Chaitanya said, we actually, the disciple has to appear as a fool in front of the spiritual master. But it didn't take much doing, really, because we were fools. We were blunt instruments that Prabhupada had brought to India. But Prabhupada, through his pushing and prodding, pressure, I remember one time when we couldn't open the temple on the very day that Prabhupada wanted it open, Janmashtami. That was 74, Janmashtami. I don't know how many people here have seen Prabhupada angry. It is so frightening to see Prabhupada angry and upset.
Like the Sringadev.
And I saw Srila Prabhupada angry many times because he wanted to get this open. He wanted his lordships, Krishna Balaram, to be worshipped as soon as possible. So I remember one time, Suravi, who was the architect, we lived in the house together, and we made a commitment. We had left Prabhupada's room, and we were like this, you know. We were really, Prabhupada throttled us. I forget exactly what it was we had done wrong. And we went back to the hut and we sat down on this little bed. And we said to one another, we made a commitment that whatever Prabhupada throws at us, we'll absorb it like a sponge. Because we know that His divine grace means well. He is only building us up. He's only making us more and more sharp like a pencil. When you sharpen a pencil, the tip of the pencil becomes very pointed and strong. And then when the temple was finally opened, we were on a morning walk with Srila Prabhupada, and he pushed his cane on the floor, and he was in a very good mood. It was the day after that wonderful arti. We all know of seeing Prabhupada offer the first arti to Krishna Balaram. So we were on a morning walk with Srila Prabhupada, and he said, stop the walk, and he turned around and he looked at us all very lovingly, incredibly lovingly. I can remember now his face and his eyes, the shape of his mouth. And he said, if I didn't think that you could handle my pressure, I would never have done it. And he said, sorry. Prabhupada actually said, I'm sorry to have put you under so much pressure. And that was the humility of Srila Prabhupada, actually telling us that he was sorry. I remember one day, Srila Prabhupada came out of his house and he stood on the little veranda. And I've already mentioned about the conversation with Raveen Dwarkadich, indicating how deeply advanced Srila Prabhupada was. He knew Krishna. He was able to talk with Krishna. And Prabhupada told us, there was only a small group of us, and I was like blown away. I couldn't believe what came out of Srila Prabhupada's mouth. Srila Prabhupada said, there is not one thing, one action, one word, that is not supercell directed. Prabhupada says, I am in total union with the supersoul in my heart. And when we heard that, we were so humble, I can't explain. We were overwhelmed. So Srila Prabhupada says, knowing what I've just told you, I want you to come on my morning walks. I only want 2, maximum 3 devotees. And we will walk up the road and we'll find a nice quiet place to sit under a tree. And if you have any doubts, about Krishna consciousness, if you have any philosophical questions you want to ask, because Srila Prabhupada said philosophy is the highest, but one who practices the philosophy is even higher. So Srila Prabhupada, that vacuum, that association with Srila Prabhupada, and like Guru Kripa and myself, we were talking before we started the class this morning, we could actually sit here for at least 3 to 4 hours talking about Srila Prabhupada and our experiences with him. We were so fortunate. There's not a day, there's not a morning when I wake and I think how fortunate this fallen soul is to have that position of serving Srila Prabhupada here in Vrindavan. And then when Srila Prabhupada finally, towards leaving, I know I'm jumping, I'm really fast forwarding big time. Srila Prabhupada said that he was a Parivrajacharya sannyasi. He took that role. Srila Prabhupada says, I am a Madhyamadikari, I'm taking this Madhyamadikari role as a traveling sannyasi because I have to discriminate the innocent, the devotees, the demons. I have to do that. But when Srila Prabhupada was finally leaving, in those weeks and days, up to the final moment of him leaving, his consciousness became Uttama-adhikari. He became rightfully situated in his real nature. And he was so humble and meek, and he was simply everyone that was able to have darshan of Srila Prabhupada. He was begging with folded hands their forgiveness if he had committed any fault or any offense. Everybody, whoever went into Prabhupada's room, I saw Prabhupada with my own eyes. I saw him, how his behavior. So we carry these things. We lock them in the heart. We carry through. But there are so many other things to talk about. Funny things that will make your stomach roll. And it's just the time, you know.
Any questions? Because that'll take some time. The class is actually up. Hare Krishna.
Oh.
Yes. Peacocks, they are wild animal. They go out away from people. So many of them were murdered by hunters, and the others, they went far out. You will find in Govardhan Hill some out in Braj, out in the outskirts, Varsana and these places. But they don't live in the cities. So Vrindavan now is officially a city. It's more tourists come to Vrindavan now than Agra, than Taj Mahal. So Vrindavan has grown such that now officially it is Vrindavan city. So maybe one day we'll get an airport and we can fly right on in.
I just wanted, in connection with peacocks, I just wanted to say, Bhadraj Prabhu, he was an artist. from Los Angeles, one of the first devotees. And he was with Jamuna and Guru Das making the deities in Jaipur. And he describes that when Krishna and Balaram were being brought by this truck in boxes, and they entered into the Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, and he was sitting on the truck and he was going very slowly. It was about 2 o'clock in the morning. All the peacocks, "Hello, hello," you know how they chant. Hundreds of peacocks, all at once. And when I first heard that story, even now I can feel the hairs on my back, and all chanting, welcoming Krishna Balaram to Vrindavan. Wonderful, wonderful story the Bhagavad told. Peacocks now, as people have said, they go out. So if you go out, say, 5 kilometers, you'll see peacocks. But remember, we used to see the peacocks, they fly, they're like airships. They fly from tree to tree, wouldn't they? You'd see them all the time, walking around, flying in the trees, everywhere.
Any other questions? Huh?
How did he get this land?
It wasn't my, that's a long story.
Yeah.
Another question? Okay, Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanan Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Shinveva Cha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Easy picking. Very quick.
Thank you. That was a beautiful thing. Thank you. Right. For sharing it. Everyone's waiting for your book.